I think if I hear you call me Becky one more time, six-pack, I'm gonna pop your tops. All six of them.
Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another review, and this is a review for Guillermo. It's a PayPal request. Thank you to him and everyone who has done that. If you're ever interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, you do so either directly sending it to my PayPal or joining me on my Patreon. The links are down below in the info box. But the review he wanted for today is a film called Kill Command. Now, obviously at the end of the day, this was alright. It was a time waster where it's a film that it looks better than and I don't know why my nose is itching. As soon as I turn the camera, my nose itches. I don't know why. Usually it's allergic to bullshit, but this movie's not that bullshit. It really isn't. It's a decent film. It's an alright time waster, meaning it looks better than your average sci-fi channel film. The plot is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Remnants of Predator, but if instead of the Predator, it was some robots, where this army unit is sent to this remote off-the-grid island for training, and they're supposed to test the capabilities of these prototypes, these robots, later on to find out that they're meant to be the soldiers' replacements. And that the robots are supposed to adapt, and if they do bad in one situation, they're supposed to adapt to be better in the next situation. And the training's going okay. The soldiers, there's really not much to the characters. I mean, I wouldn't say they were god awful or anything, but there was also nothing memorable about the characters. The kind of maybe serviceable in the best way to describe it, but nothing that you would remember the day after viewing the movie. Along with the soldiers, you have this lady who has a chip implanted in her, and apparently long ago cured her of paralysis, and she's able to control the machines with this supposedly control. So in the forest, the soldiers are training with these machines as targets, and the soldiers are doing well. But then one thing leads to another, and the robots go haywire. And I thought the effects were decent. Sometimes the CGI was a bit iffy. Other times it was fairly solid, especially on the main robot that has the bluish glint. Kind of like if I use the lighting of this webcam, a little bit of that bluish on its face. I don't mind the design, the look of the robots. Some of them look as if they're just giant guns. Interesting design. And it's very basic, but straightforward. Soldiers versus robots in the forest. I do wish, though, that it was a bigger budgeted film, that it was a big studio film. Why? If done the right way, of course. That's the thing. If done the right way, if this had a bigger budget, so you can include some more action, finesse the special effects, maybe put some names in the cast. If in the lead you had an Idris Elba, a Thomas Jane, a Carl Urban, a strong lead and a strong other supporting cast, like Predator, Predator 2, some of these other movies. And also bring more of the R-rated material. Because in a way, this didn't feel like an R rating. I think if you had, I mean, hell, if you had, say, a Stallone or Jean-Claude Van Damme or Wesley Snipes, Michael Jai White. Hell, if the team was like Michael Jai White and Scott Adkins and Tony Jaa, and even if just them shooting, I mean, whatever. I'm just thinking of all these other names. If you had them and a bit of a bigger budget and a bit more of an R rating, this could have been great. But as it is, it's an okay time waster because it's not that boring. It goes by a pretty decent pace. The acting is fine. Did nothing great. It's fine. I didn't mind the actor who played the character Drifter. He seemed as if the individual that was getting along with the lady the most. Not on a sexual level, but on a friendship level, because the other soldiers kind of straying away from her, especially the lead, which my friend Michael CP did a review of this. He called him sort of a combination of Anthony Michael Hall and I forget who else. Which, I mean, I guess I could see that, but it just, the lead guy, he was sort of there. Didn't love him, didn't hate him. He was there. I thought if the guy who played Drifter was the lead, that would have been a bit better. Now maybe because his character was at least a little bit more interesting, because he was a little bit more likable because of him acting a bit more as a human being to this lady compared to some of the other soldiers. But yeah, the guy who played Drifter, I forget his name. Of the characters, I thought he was the better one. There's a couple decent shots when they're in the forest and one guy's looking around, and in the corner around here, where my hand is here, you just barely see a robot and looking down at the human. The fact that it was so, this little corner of the screen is like, oh, I caught that. That was a cool little touch by the director. Sadly, because of the weapons, there wasn't a ton of really kicking the robot's ass. I mean, there was some in the finale, don't get me wrong, to be fair. There's some in the finale, but leading up to it, there wasn't a whole lot of that. A Drifter, when that character gets killed off, and it's a mercy kill because all these machines are around it. I hated that because I thought, that's one of the better characters and you took him out. That was a mistake. I thought that was a mistake on the movie's level. And there's really nothing too much else with the plot. There's a point where they go into these, I guess, older type of robots, these other robots, and the girl, her chip is not working to interface with the robot, so she's trying desperately to help the soldiers however she can. So she tries to get info on these robots, and it has a speech mode, and it's talking about how the soldiers are not performing as expected, and so they've changed the ammo to live ammo, and it doesn't say this, but pretty much told the girl and soldiers, you're shit out of luck. Tough titty. Tough titties. So the big plan is wannabe Kyle Reese. That's kind of what the lead guy reminded me of, wannabe Kyle Reese. The lady with the implant, and one guy who, bit of a newbie. My friend Mike OCP said he seemed as if one of the characters that would die early, but he doesn't, so kind of a little surprise. And then there's a sniper. Their plan is to shoot this big EMP, and so they battle robots at the end. You get some decent little bits of action, but nothing remarkable, nothing mind-blowing, a little decent. The sniper, I liked him, not really for the character. Because there's really nothing to his character, just more of his actions. As a sniper, he kicked a lot of ass. So of course he gets killed. I'm like, well, that sucks. I may not know much about him as a character, but I liked him more than the lead guy because at least the sniper kicked more ass. Let the wannabe Tyrese die and let the sniper guy and Drifter live. I might have liked it a little bit more if it did that. I really would have. Because the lead guy just, he doesn't trust the implant girl, and he's a little bit of a dick, or wannabe Tyrese, or wannabe Hicks, or wannabe. Yeah. For me, it's like a wannabe Michael Biehn. That's how I mean, Mike mentioned Anthony Michael Hall. He seemed like a wannabe Michael Biehn to me. And spoiler alert, spoilers. Actually, before, yeah. Okay, when I put this down, there won't be any spoilers. How about that? So, spoiler alert. What happens is, it's just the wannabe Michael Biehn and the other guy, and then the girl. They use the EMP, but the big robot is still alive, the last one alive. The girl gets shot. I think she was shot before that. She sets up a trap with this gun, shoots the robot in the face. Before that, the robot kept going, "You are not identified. Identify. Who are you?" He didn't say who are you, but identify. "I'm human." Shoots the motherfucker in the face. Wannabe Michael Biehn and the other guy, they go to safety. And then for some reason, which I didn't really understand, now the girl has been taken over by this program, this SAR. When it said SAR, I kept thinking of SARS. So, I mean, that was, I think, the wrong acronym. I forget if that's the term. That was the wrong thing. Because you say SAR, it just makes people think of SARS. Maybe that was their point. I don't know. So now the girl is taken over by the program of the robots. So are they leaving a room for a sequel? That will never happen because this came out, what, 2016? No one's even heard of this film. Or, like, when did that happen? Because the robot barely had time to do anything. All the other robots are dead from the EMP. For some reason, it got shot in the face. I don't know. For some reason, she's taken over now. So I didn't really understand how that occurred, but whatever. And that's kind of my reaction. I watched the film. I go, there's much better movies. There's much worse movies. It was a time waster at most, where it's not a bad looking film the way it was. It didn't look dirt cheap like a Sci-Fi Channel or like an Asylum film. It didn't look that bad. It looked okay. The effects work. There's some iffy stuff here and there, but there's a good chunk that is fairly good. The action scenes, when they do happen, are adequate. That's the thing. This is a mediocre, average, maybe close to above average time waster. You watch it. I didn't really get much out of it, but I didn't get mad on it. And at the end of the day, this is a film. When people go, what's a film you would like to see remade? This is the example of that. Granted, when that question always comes up, I always forget because I've seen so many damn movies. But if anyone ever asks me and I can't remember, feel free to remind me. This is an example. This is a film that could use a remake. Like I mentioned, with a bigger budget. Instead of The Predator, Shane Black should have made this movie. Instead of The Predator and blah blah blah, fuck me with an aardvark, that stupid script. Should have made this movie. And have someone to watch your ass, get a different writer, not Fred Decker. Sorry, his guy's lost his touch. Have Thomas Jane as the lead, not in the background, so Therese going, fuck me with an aardvark. So maybe not Shane Black, but get like Rennie Harlan, or get. I'm trying to think of directors. Isaac Florentine. That'd be interesting. That'd be different for the director to do. Guys who did John Wick. I mean, I'm trying to think of the group who did Dread. You have Carl Urban star. I mean, I'm sure there are directors out there that could have. And maybe it's not the director, it's just the budget and the script. Like the sequel bait ending, don't have that. The characters, work on them a bit more, or have some name actors that have a bit more presence, or have some of the characters like Drifter be the lead and not this fucking wannabe Michael Biehn guy. Again, there's not much to the character. It just, you've seen stuff better. You've seen it done before. It's nothing original. It's nothing remarkable. You're watching it. It goes at a breezy pace. There's nothing remarkably awful that made me upset or angry or offended. Back in the day, if you saw this on cable, you'd be okay, that was a movie. What's next? That's kind of the reaction I got out of this. So I don't know how else to word it. There's better movies. There's worse movies. It was there. But with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.